To be honest, to set up the escape room was pretty easy, I can say. The guidance that I received by reading and following the instruction guide was more than enough to help me understand how to set up everything needed. The guide, as a manual, is intended to give assistance to people using a particular system, and this is exactly what it has done. Of course, during the setting up of the escape room, I had no designer. I had the designer's assistance to guide me throughout some technical issues that happened, such as the lack of a 3-digit lock and the fact that we had to come up with a solution. So instead we included a 4-digit lock, and we changed slightly the clues and the puzzles needed in order to fit the solutions. Thankfully, regarding the concept of how comprehensible it was easy to understand the concept. I faced no issue on this topic. Of course, the fact that the entire backstory, theme and narrative of the escape room is stated at the very beginning of the instruction guide makes it much easier for me to understand the purpose of the escape room, and to, of course, understand how to set it up without any trouble. Also, the fact that the theme is interesting makes it much easier for someone to get engaged faster, even at the face of the setup, and not just for the participants. Did I have any difficulties while setting up the escape room? To be honest, there was no difficulty to set up the escape room. It was pretty easy, I can say. There is nothing in the scenario regarding the materials that had to be used for the puzzles and the tasks that it was difficult to be found, and also to integrate it into the room. Most of the materials, such as locks and locked boxes, could easily be found at stores like supermarkets, grocery stores, even convenience stores. Except, of course, one specific lock, the 3-digit lock, that was difficult to be found due to shortages at the stores. I think that finding the specific materials was slightly more difficult than setting up the room, I mean. As I have said already at the very beginning of this interview, finding a 3-digit lock was impossible, so we used a 4-digit lock instead. And this had some impact on the setting up of the room, because I had to modify the clues in order to for the participants to end up unlocking a 4-digit lock instead of a 3-digit lock. So yeah, that's the thing. If you miss a material, then you have to come up with a solution that may affect the plot and the clues and the puzzles and everything. I think that the entire experience was nice, but what I liked the most was the fact that while setting up the tasks, I knew which of those were the most difficult, and I was thinking, the participants will stumble while trying to solve this puzzle. So the element of knowing the challenges and the solutions makes one feeling excited while trying to set them up. Also, observing the participants afterwards while they were trying to find the clues and connect the dots is kind of entertaining too, I can say.
Probably the only thing that I would have changed in the escape room is the missing 3-digit lock that I could not find in the stores. So instead I replaced it with another 4-digit lock. You see, having many locks of the same type can be very confusing in an escape game. I think that if I could have found the 3-digit lock, in a store and use that one instead, as the guide has said, the entire experience of the escape room would have been much better and not very confusing for the participants. In general, the participants did not get much confused by the clues. As far as I remember, they seemed very well focused on the narrative of the room, which helped them interpret the clues in the right way and not stumble or overthink. Yes, this was the most beneficial aspect of our escape room pilots, since we became aware that hints should be provided in case participants are stuck and they don't know how to proceed. We did have some of these situations, of course, but creative hints from our game master did the tricks for us. And general advice, make sure you set up the rooms correctly and include everything that the guide mentions. There is a reason why those things are written in there, and every small detail contributes to the general image of the room, the task, the clues, the puzzles, etc. So make sure you follow the guide step by step, and if there is something missing or something you cannot find, just be creative.